Don't hate the mirror. Don't kill the messenger. Heed the information. When you desire something and that desire comes from your soul and your heart, there's a deep, deep, deep coherence to that desire. It's not, oh, I want money. Oh, I want this or that. Yeah, these things are nice. There is a desire, chill, that comes through your soul. And when that happens, your subconscious begins to organize itself. And what happens is anything that is not congruent or in alignment with the highest potential and truth of that desire is going to be mirrored to you. So anywhere that your internal belief system is not in true alliance with the thing that you're desiring, anywhere where your inner assumption, belief, expectations, where your doubts, where your true sense of self and worth and deserving lies, what you happen to believe to be true for you is what is going to appear, not because it's designed to test or punish or anything. It's just your basic operating system. So when you're moving through life from the position of, and the basic foundation assumption that what is mirrored to me is a direct reflection of what is ready to be alchemized and shifted internally, the external world becomes data. Data to your emancipation, data to your next level of expansion, data to where your identity needs to rise to match the version of you that is in alignment with the desire that you have called forth that's come from your heart. And this is the actual this is the person that I'm working with. These are the people that I'm working with in my identity shifting containers. These are the people that I'm working with in the receptivity codes. If you're a woman, you're a high achieving woman, you have a very specific set of soul evolutionary, I don't want to call them wounds, but they kind of are. They're archetypal wounds that you've come into this incarnation with to grow. These are the things that you came in to this incarnation with to elevate so that you could evolve into your highest expression. And I'll give you an example of how this truly came for me to understand it. This is not something somebody taught me. This is not an external teaching that I learned somewhere. I heard it afterwards, but it's something that came to me. And so it was easy for me to adopt this understanding as a knowing because it came to me through direct knowing. I was in Costa Rica and I was just sitting by a beach. I was sitting by the sea and I could see where the river met the sea. And I was just at one at that moment with all of creation. And I had just I was basically swept ashore after many, many years of overworking, overcommitting, working to depletion, giving away my power, outsourcing my power, not having secure boundaries, not honoring my own personal needs. Having a deep, 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 deep disconnect between my own needs and being able to nurture and look after myself effectively. And through that, many repeating patterns with in terms of my relational partnerships with intimate partners that were always along the same patterns. And it was only at that point that I decided at the end of 2018, I I want to understand why this keeps happening. Why does this pattern keep repeating? And I ended up walking away from everything I knew, exhausted, living in distorted masculine templates, forcing my way through life, living and creating in a way that was not sustainable and wasn't going to be, and in fact was actually my deepest wound and my deepest gift to the world. And this is why I always talk about turning your pain into profit. Anyway, this particular wound is in our vocation sphere, and it's relational. It's relational, and it's also part of the growth that happens in every single sphere of our lives, in our business, in our work, in our career, in our personal interpersonal relationships. So it's going to have many faces and many lenses, and it will keep repeating until you transform it. And it might even keep repeating in different ways until you meet it and transform it, until you integrate the learnings, the lessons. And this is what it really means when we talk about your soul has an incarnation, came into the world with certain things to evolve, certain themes to explore as you step into your fullest power and lead from the wisdom of wholeness that those lessons and those integrated lessons allow you to have. And I was on the beach, and I remember writing down that I had played many parts. I had been the thief, I had been the victim, I'd been the villain, I'd been the murderer, I'd been the betrayer, the betrayed, I'd played all the parts. And this idea wasn't new to me then either, because I had always had this expanded sense of being someone who had played many parts. But when it came down to turning concept into embodiment, what it did was allow me to really understand this assumption that anything that had happened, any relationship that I had, was purely a mirror of my internal operating system. And again, this is probably information that isn't new to you. But the question I pose is, are you leading your life from that perspective? And if so, this is where you get to change the game and make those big quantum shifts, whether they are micro decisions, micro movements, micro shifts, or whether they lead to big leaps in collapse time as you elevate into a different version of self, because reality has rearranged itself for you. If you are still repeating patterns that aren't changing, my work is for you. Because my work is bringing you out of the operating system, out of the identity that is still looking at the mirror, and instead of seeing it as data and a point of reference, to shift what is happening on the internal level and make a quick change, the change that is actually in alignment with your desire, rather than falling into the loops of fear, doubt, or even overly identifying with the pain. What we're doing in my work is we are meeting that pain, we are meeting the grief, we're allowing ourselves to feel, but we're not staying in the loop, and we're not staying in the story that isn't serving our highest evolution, our next step. And we're not staying in a place of constantly clearing and removing, looking for new things new beliefs to recode and new things to, find. What you're doing is you're choosing, you're deciding, and you're moving. And it's the action part, the structure and holding you in that field. That's why people pay me. This is what part of my genius is helping you to stay in the new, to create from the new, to elevate. Educate to elevate, baby. So, key takeaways, let me know in the comments. If you're ready to move into your most powerful whole inner union within, so that you are leading from your own true love blueprint, from the magnetism and authentic energy and frequency that naturally allows you to be seen, be vulnerable, without choosing from survival imprints, without creating stories or assumptions that sabotage you in intimate partnership. And you're ready for a real look at understanding the archetypal frequencies that you're able to tune into from both your own Gene Keys chart, your human design, and the archetypes, the feminine archetypes that I work with. Because the work is consciousness. It's about the quality of your consciousness. Yeah. My work isn't surface level. And I'm not going to be dimming it down or softening it. This is for optimizing and creating high performance shifts. For women who are ready to move. And if you are wanting to step into your next level in your business, in your wealth, in how you show up, in your visibility, then my one-to-one, I have one space left at the moment for one-to-one. If you're hearing, it depends on when you're hearing this, but you can message me and see whether this work is ready, if you're ready for this work at this time. I have limited spots available for my one-to-one 4-month containers because the work is precise, it's bespoke, and I don't like working beyond my capacity. So the spaces, you can either be on a waiting list or you can join if I have the space available. At the moment I do. This is April the 9th, 2026. I have one spot free. So let me know the biggest takeaway from today's podcast, and I look forward to your expansion.